So just to run through what you or the way you can find out a little bit more about results. Number one is to choose and take a look at the specification for your particular subject. So let's look at biology, and we're just going to look at GCSE biology. Bear in mind, this doesn't include double award science. You'd put that in differently. But if I look at the course specification here and download it, what we've got here, um, you have all the information about the course. Crucially, what we're looking at today is the results right near the end. Here, the grading, awarding, reporting. So this gives you information about what are the grade boundaries for each unit. Now, the units, they're 1 and 2 are the examinations. So if you're in year 10, you're at unit 1 in biology. Now, what it tells you that it needs, or you need 108 to get a C, 126 to get a B, and so on. So if you're looking at your grade in the result, next to it there'll be a number, and you get a sense of where you were. I mean, were you just over the C boundary, borderline B? And these marks are going to be important. We'll come on to that in a moment. Now, Unit 3 is the coursework. And again, this is this time out of 40 rather than 180. So, for example, you need 24 just to get a C, and on and on. Now, these boundaries don't change from year to year. And what you'll find at the bottom here is this is the total of all these UMS marks that you need to achieve each of the grades. So for example, you need 240 to get a C. So if you look at what you've got from grade 1, so unit 1 rather, plus when you know how much you get for unit 3, the coursework, you then know how much you'll need to achieve to get whichever grade you're looking for here. So one example that's you can see what happened here is if, let's say, you had 107, so you've had 2 Ds in your exams, that would get you to 214. We then need 26 to get to the C grade. So if you were able to get 26 marks, so sort of midway between a B and a C on your coursework, still just about scrape into a C. So it is possible, even if you've not got the grade you achieved, you can get, it's, to put it simply, it's the mark that's important rather than the grade itself. Same thing would happen actually if you're in the foundation paper and you were getting good C's, as in close to a B. Along with coursework, you could just about get into a B grade there. So, something to bear in mind. Now, the other thing to think about here is these are the same each year, whereas the papers obviously are going to be slightly different as far as challenge goes. So what has to happen is that these marks come from the raw marks on the paper, what the examiners actually marked, and are converted into these. Now you can also find out what these were like for this year's paper, for any year's paper. We go back to the home page here. Now you can access this via results day, but it's quite a few steps. I'm going to go instead and click on administration, go down here to results and grade boundaries, grade boundaries again, and then here it says the unit grade boundaries and raw mark. So what you need to do is select this year. We'll look at the GCSE, so we'll stick with biology. You then find your subject, so biology unit 1, and we're going to start there. As you can see, it's unit 1 foundation or higher, so we're just going to look at foundation. So at the top you can see, we said 108 was what the UMS mark was for a C. To achieve that in the paper you needed 35, and if we scroll down you can see the paper was out of 80. So actually to just achieve a C, just about, you would need slightly less than half of the marks for that paper. The other thing that's worth noting is the raw marks here. If you look at them, they go up to, I think it's 40, 41 there, gives you 125. That's the maximum you can achieve on a foundation paper. So 40, which is just over half marks, will give you 125. So that's the maximum. That's one less than you need to get a B grade on the UMS scale. So it gives you some idea. You can actually look back and see what your raw grade was. You need to find a UMS mark on this column. Let's say we had 105. That tells you had 34. Well, that'll be just below, but let's say you had 111. That's just 1 mark into the C boundary. Compare that higher tier. What we'll see is that to get a C in the higher paper, it's still out of 80, 19 marks were needed. B then, another 11, another 11. So, there was about 10, 11 marks between each of the grades. Same thing is true here, though. If you achieve full UMS, doesn't necessarily mean you had a full marks on the paper. In fact, as you can see, you get to 180, which is the maximum we can get on this paper, here with 63 marks out of 80. So it gives you an idea of how these marks, how they are marked, and how that translates onto the UMS mark. If you want any further guidance about this, or to talk a little more about how we can support you, don't hesitate to get in touch.